We often wonder if it gets better. And in this comfy ASMR audio, I'm here to affirm. I said that's strange, but I'm here to affirm. Things do get better. Things don't get worse. They get better. So, to finish off Pride Month, or whenever you're listening to this, we're going to talk about the fact that things get better the more you do it over time. Transition is not the easiest thing. We have those moments where we wonder if things will get better, whether things improve, whether we become that person we always saw ourselves to become, And the thing is, over time, you do become that person. And then there's this sense of loss that can come with being trans. A sense that we lost something we can never, ever have. But there's aspects of what we really want that we can get right now. That's the reality of it. Maybe we don't get things in the manner we expected. Maybe we don't get things how we hoped or anticipated. However, as you drift off to sleep, know very confidently that things improve. They get better. You learn a lot when you transition, when you think about it. Well, other than the obvious stuff like fashion, how to present as your gender, maybe voice stuff, whatever. But there's a moment where you start being you, in a sense. And it can feel like sometimes that who you are feels a little different than how you used to act. And that's fine, by the way. Transition is a second puberty. The puberty you feel you were always meant to have. It can get complicated with a sense of self when it felt like you had to be someone else for a while. But the thing is, embracing who you are is no easy task. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta know there's nothing wrong with being you. There's all sorts of aspects to that. I understand there's things that we wanted to have. Maybe things you thought about in dreamlike scenarios. Stuff like being on a nice date in a cute dress, or being a schoolgirl, or playing with cute toys as a little girl. All sorts of things this can be. And the truth is, it does improve. It feels better later. Because even if it's not how you anticipated to do it, you get to be you. Sure, maybe the time has passed to become a schoolgirl. However, the time hasn't passed to wear cute girls' clothes and make friends and socialize as a girl. Sure, maybe we didn't get to wear a nice dress and have a cute date at the prom or formal or whatever you have. But there's other events. School isn't the end-all be-all. As you might recall, a lot of people didn't like school when they were there. What are you gonna do? There's a sense that as if all joy has to end when you're an adult. I understand I'm very young, but through my young adult life, I've gotten the sense that while it changes how things go, you're kind of given the ability to be more of a child than you ever were. What I mean by that is you gain freedoms, the kind of freedoms that a younger you would have wanted. And even if it's not exact, you do get a sense of making your own choices. That could be getting the clothes that feel right for you. That could be dressing a way that feels comfortable. That could be going on a trip, maybe somewhere you always wanted to be, or maybe somewhere you went to before, but you didn't get to experience it how you wanted to because of gender. See, when I was really little, like really little, I would go to this one water park with family very often. And I did a little vlog about it, but when I was a little older, I returned to that water park, but as my current self. Current sense of self. And you know what? Honestly, the time I went as an adult was way more fun than when I went as a kid. I could go on the rides I wanted, had to wear a girly swimsuit. Life doesn't die out the second you become an adult. Especially for us. There's a concept that someone that I've forgotten the name of, unfortunately, came up with, and it refers to queer time. Now, I don't remember the exact definition given in some articles that I read during a gender studies thing at university, but point is, queer time refers to how people under the LGBTQ plus umbrella tend to not do things in the same time frame as cishet people. This applies to trans people, obviously. You might not get to do things in the time frame that felt convenient or stereotyped or meant to be. But that doesn't mean life ends. If anything, it just started. At any point. All the things you want to do, you gotta find a way to do it in a way that works for you. You know? As you transition more and more, you get to be yourself. There's challenges with that. People resisting perhaps legislation in wherever you are. As long as you do what you feel you need to do to achieve that happiness, then you'll be happier than if you never tried at all. Transition isn't easy, but never doing it at all is even harder. Am I in the right place to tell people it's not too late to transition? Maybe not. I understand I'm pretty young. I'm not going to act like I know what it's like for people that are in their late 20s and above. I won't act like I can comprehend that for a second. However you can. You know it's important to you. You've learned a lot on your time on this earth. And there's things you always wanted to do. And there's ways to do a lot of those things. And as you transition, you get to finally take it. Be you. Do what makes you happy. Just because we're trans doesn't mean we have to be a living tragedy. Sure, there's difficult parts of being who we are. But we don't have to always be sad. And mental health's a complicated thing. Simply don't be sad is not very helpful advice. Instead, try to figure out what will make you happier. And try to approach that as helpfully as you can. Specifically what's important to you. Not what's important to me. Or someone else. You. Okay? And as you get to look and sound and be more in line with who you felt you always were. There's kind of a little version of yourself that is grateful you've done what you've done. Transition, that is. Even when we don't know who we are going to be. And imagine if our younger selves saw us, there'd be a sense of relief. Complicated emotions, yes, but a sense of relief. And you've done really well so far. I think that younger you would be proud of you. Everything happens for a reason. The things you've done and the things you haven't done, well, there's a reason. And that's okay. We all have setbacks. So many setbacks, in fact. It's the kind of thing that can really get to you. It can feel like you're drowning. It can be hard to overcome. You can feel, in a sense, that sense of loss that feels like it can never heal. And while healing is a complicated process, there's things you can do to make you feel happier, safer, more you. And in a more general sense, isn't it kind of beautiful how much quicker people on average are figuring out who they are? That tells me we're doing something right. The only reason transphobic lawmakers do transphobic lawmaker stuff is because they're scared. They have seen that we're more easily able to be ourselves. That conflicts with a lot of things they believe in. But that kind of thing doesn't matter. What matters is being yourself, being happy, and being kind to others around you. The mean things people say about us is more about them than it is about us, usually. What does it matter if some people say some mean stuff? Overall, there's been a very big positive trajectory of trans acceptance. Government policy is not a reflection of the general public. There's so many people in the world. I recently made a video about my experience living in Japan, which is usually not the most progressive place in the world. But I like to point out that, at least in my experience, even if way back when people were pretty transphobic, I've noticed a general shift in Gen Z people being more accepting of it, generally, on average. A gradual increase, yes, but still an increase. And this is a country where gay marriage isn't even legal. And there's plenty of Gen Z that think being gay is okay. You know? We have to look at the big picture. The big world around us. In an overarching sense, things are getting better. Bad things happen in response to people feeling like they've lost control. However, it's important to remember, they used to bully people that were left-handed. A lot of people cause a stink about women wanting to vote. I'd say a lot of things have changed for the better. Still much to do in many areas. Gender and racial inequality is still a thing, of course. But dang, it's better than it used to be, when you think about it. Even if people are louder about being horrible, the general consensus is surprisingly tame. for every angry transphobe on Twitter is several thousand regular people that would not care. And honestly, not caring is a good thing sometimes. If they don't care, then they'll let us do whatever, right? The people that actually oppose us is pretty slim when you think about it. And either way, we survived before. All of human history, in fact. It's always interesting to note the trans experience can be historically dated back before most things. And it's not even in a specific country. All over the world. Wherever you may be listening in from, just because you're from a certain part of the world doesn't mean you don't deserve to be yourself. You can be you in the way that you understand that. If you want to be a girl, if you want to be a boy, you want to express a non-binary identity, that's fine. More than fine. I think it's beautiful how things slowly get better. And in a sense, I love that feeling of feeling more in touch with my own emotions. Hormones kind of made me feel alive again. Before that, I kind of didn't. Not in a dramatic sense. I'll still do my thing, but there was something that didn't feel right, but what do I have to compare it to? When I go see a movie now and I see the beautiful colors on the screen, I sometimes can't help but just happy cry that I can see such a beautiful thing. Sometimes the wind blows and my hair moves in such a way that looking at my shadow, I can't help but be so happy. Sometimes I hear the birds sing and can't help but feel grateful I got to do all this, to be myself. I may not have a sense of smell, but all my other senses feel more present, more aware, more alive. Sure, my hearing's not particularly amazing, but I can still hear. And that's big, important, and beautiful. Being yourself is the best thing you can be. Being yourself is important. It's not you being selfish. That'd be a bit ridiculous. What would being yourself be selfish of? If a cis person was asked to trans their gender, and if they didn't want to and were called selfish, that'd be pretty cruel. A lot of people don't mind if it happens to us. I always find that kind of odd. Ultimately, you gotta be yourself. And things get better. It's pretty wonderful, in fact. To feel fortunate to have it just be right. You know? And nothing's perfect. That's okay. It doesn't have to be. I mean, my head's a bit messy. I've been staring at it the whole time. It's not exactly perfect. I need to get the bangs trimmed. But I'm thankful I can even say those words. I'm thankful I can go to a hairdresser without feeling dread. It's pretty nice. What else is pretty nice? You. So as you drift to sleep, hopefully my voice helped bring a nice sleep. We can go to the next day and know that things will be okay. And you're going to go out there and you're going to do all the things you want to do, knowing that nothing is ever too late. Sleep well. Enjoy the feelings of the pillows, the plushies, if you have them. If you don't, you can metaphorically imagine one of mine. That's perfectly okay. I hope the bed's soft and the weather nice and calm. And a great wake up in the future. Sleep well, stay hydrated, and know that you are valid.